7:14 on a cloudy Thursday. Doug Dreisel.
I can't help myself. I just told a funny. You guys should have heard it. It was good.
So what's going on with you?
Oh, I don't know. You know, you wake up early in the morning and you drive from Cherokee Village to Mountain Home, and I put it on my Facebook status, which is, of course, under Doug Dreisel. And I just put on there, you know, who could hate this life? You drive along through beautiful farmlands and, you know, cattle farms and cross beautiful Lake Norfolk right there at Henderson. And you just think, who could hate being here this morning? Who could say, I don't want to be up driving this road? You know, I mean, it's beautiful.
It's a pretty drive no matter.
It's wonderful.
Oh, I tell you what, I went to Fayetteville Monday afternoon.
And that's a beautiful drive.
Well, I got caught in those storms, you know, Sunday
nice.
evening. Well, had a little cookout and all that stuff with my son and daughter-in-law. And, about 6:45, 6:50, 6:55. I told Greg, I said, you know, I might ought to start heading east because look at that sky. We hear a rumble of thunder here and there.
Right.
So we checked the radar. Well, yeah, you know, it's going to put me home about 9:30, 10 anyway, so took off. Let me tell you what, the storms were always basically behind me. I never got in really heavy rain until I got into downtown Harrison. But the lightning was such, it's like a big black light. Yeah. And you know how green it is over there? It's like Dublin on St. Patrick's Day to begin with. Well, that lightning would just light up the whole sky and every farm for 100 miles. It is really pretty.
Oh, it is. It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like God's little show that He gives you, you know, and it's
and then the little finger lightning, the streaks of lightning out ahead of the storm. It was pretty. You know,
anybody
I wanted to get out of the way of that tornado was down in Newton County. You know?
Yeah. But anybody who doesn't love those kind of shows is just, I don't know. I don't know where they're at. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How's Doug?
Well, Doug's doing good. You know, we before I get into talking about our move that folks are going to get to hear about probably today for the first time because we haven't ran the show we did the other day, but
it comes up on June 6th. You'll be on Horse's Mouth.
Yeah, and but there is a big move going on. Before we get into that, I want to know, you know, I declared my candidacy for president of the United States, and are you going to declare yours?
I'll wait a while.
Yeah. Can you believe how many people are running? I mean,
I think me and you haven't announced it. That's about it.
well, my campaign manager last time, Aaron Baltz, he got on. He said that he was going to announce at 4 p.m. at the Powhatan Courthouse, and it was going to be carried on a couple of farm shows. You know, I mean, it's almost that ridiculous right now. It's like we've got to get a focus in the Republican Party. We you know, the conservatives have to line up and realize that. You can't run everybody. It's nice that we have all these folks that want to do it, but, you know, somebody's got to get out of the way, you know, and we're not going to elect a blue state governor as president of the United States in the Republican Party. It's not going to happen. Can't happen. I mean, you know, history shows no matter where it's at. I heard it on your station this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were talking about it.
That though Chris Christie won by 21 points in governor, he lost by 6 to Hillary in president with the same voters. And so you hear that kind of stuff, and you go, okay, everybody, calm down. Let's find a good candidate. You know, that's my rant this morning.
Yeah. I really wish Mitch Daniel out of Indiana, the former governor, he's a good guy.
He is
laid back, conservative.
You know what?
Smart.
You know what he has? He has the Achilles heel of standing up to the gay lobby.
Yeah.
And I think the party, now that I've ran for office and will be running again, I noticed that, you know, everything's about a poll. And I don't think the people in the state, and I think proving this is the fact that I lost by so little, I don't think the polls reflect the true stance of the people in America. I don't know why. We know that Pew is
the only poll I trust is the one holding up my flag.
That's right. There you
it.
go. The bingo. What, Dale? That's so good. Gosh, that's good. You just
love that, don't you?
You're really getting good.
Write that down.
Yeah. Did you just come up with that,
folks?
Think so. I want to talk to you about our movement right now because now if you go there this morning, you'll see a big blank page, or this page is parked. But we're about to launch a very, very, very important website. ArkansasAgainstObamacare.com. Now, folks, that's coming out. We will have it up by June 6th. It'll be full of information, and we are trying to get a full-on repeal initiative on the ballot for the next election. And we're not going to stop until we get it done. We're very, 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 very into this. I know that other people have tried this and failed, but, folks, We need to get united behind the people being able to make the choice of whether or not Obamacare in Arkansas, private option, whatever you want to call it, is going to be our future, or are we going to just stand up to our government and say enough? You know, that we have that right as citizens.
Yep.
To stand up, referendum, and say no. This is done. Not in 2016. Not 4 weeks from next Wednesday. It's done tomorrow, and we're tired of it. Mm-hmm. Now, it has nothing to do with whether or not we want to help people, Dale, because we all want to help people. I help people every day in my personal life. You know, this has nothing to do with that. This has to do with we cannot afford this. I've been telling you that. We preached that in the last election. We are now easily we're going to be at $114 million unfunded in private option. Where do people think $114 million in the state of Arkansas with our income sources? Where are we going to get that we don't have now? You know where we're going to get it? We the people. Taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know.
What I don't like about it is, and I listen to what people say.
Sure.
I know for a fact that those that have Obamacare type insurance, the coding, and I ask a particular person that works at a hospital. I'm not going to disclose the location, but I said, if I drop the bowling ball on my foot at the bowling alley, what if you code it as a emergency appendectomy? There's nobody to police that.
No.
They get paid for the appendectomy, not because I bruised my big toe with a bowling ball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So one of them is a Band-Aid and, boy, you're stupid type of thing. The other is, oh, we feel, blah, blah, blah. We had to cut your appendix.
Yep.
That's our money they're spending for. And I need to clarify. Yes, we have the private option with 231,000 people on top of everything else. Now we got to take care of those people if we get rid of Obamacare, because some of them may be going through treatment. So we got to come up with a COBRA plan for that.
And we have only hit the government's target. Now we have numbers we didn't even have in the last election. You and I sit back, Blaine Davis, Don Blance, and a bunch of us, and surmised what would happen. And we even missed it. It's above what we thought. Right. I mean, we're not hitting the target at all. I mean, maybe I'm going to go back and look. I want to say 2 to 3 months in the last, what have we had private option now? A couple of years, or we're getting close. We've only hit monthly targets 2 or 3 times. We have so many cost overruns, and now the federal government, who said they were going to pay 90% after 2017, now all of a sudden, what are they saying? Maybe 70%. We're not sure.
But then on top of everything else, they cut Medicare to the point where some hospitals throughout the region in the Midwest that have a lot of people, it's hurt them. So this loop is just, it's so tangled.
Ask your local doctor how he's dealing with the Medicare problem, because Medicare has been cut, and old folks are getting hurt left and right because we're trying to fund 30-year-old males who won't work, and we can't do it. I mean, it's that simple.
I was in Nashville, Tennessee a month ago, and we got to talking about Obamacare, and a hospital in that area was doing so well off of Obamacare that some of their people got some very, very good bonuses.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it makes AIG look equal to.
Did they thank you?
No.
No. Because we gave them those bonuses in every state.
I'm saying, and I discussed this coming Saturday on Straight from the Horse's Mouth at 4:30. Senator John Bozeman's on the program, and we discussed this very issue. I said, Senator, I want every hospital that has Obamacare private option audited. That's taxpayer. What did the Supreme Court say?
It is a tax.
Okay, if that's our money, where's the tax money come from?
We the people.
Okay, so I want them audited. I want to know, where's it going? Are we coding this right? What about folks that live in Missouri and Oklahoma that come in and say, well, I want insurance because I live here? Well, they live in...
See, that's another big thing we could put on our KansasForObamacare.com. We could put another referendum for people to write in and sign a petition saying we want an audit of our hospital systems. They're getting bonuses on our backs, The
very people that fussed at Chrysler and General Motors and AIG, guess what? You join those ranks.
Yep, that's right. You're right in there. And
just make a better ignition switch.
Well... Easy, cowboy. But you're right. But folks,
Well, a government-funded recall. What do you think of that?
write that down. You won't see it today, but you'll see it soon. ArkansasAgainstObamacare.com. And don't forget it, because we're going to have a lot of interesting stuff up there. A lot of stuff Dale has on his show. And we are hopefully very soon going to have a legally written chance for us to sign a petition to referendum Obamacare in Arkansas, where our elected officials...
It's going to take the people to do it.
Yeah, because our elected officials are...
Well, as long as there's many, many dollars tied to this thing coming and going, I think it was quite evident when John Burris and Scott Flippo run for a local Senate seat, and all of that money coming in from the casinos in Oklahoma. We had Vegas money. We had New Jersey money. Why would they be interested in a local Arkansas race?
Because it matters to them.
Because it matters to them. That little Senate race, Senate seat, what was it, 17 that Scott Flippo
I know,
won?
what an exciting race that was.
You know, between John and, and Burris is still working to push Obamacare through Arkansas.
Yeah. And he's doing that because on his back, there is so many dollars already. You know, and I say this a lot. We have basically a three-party system in Arkansas. And that's a fact, folks. If you don't believe it, it's not. I'm not giving you the popular stance. I'm not giving you the one that my party would like to hear me say. I'm giving you the real facts. We have a three-party system. We have Democrats, Republicans, and them. And them don't have your best interests at heart. And them have donkeys and elephants beside them. This is not a party. Them is a bunch of people who will vote to do anything they can to get Obamacare increased in Arkansas. And that is a scary thing when you think how many them is. And folks, they aren't representing you, not one of them. You know. And so what you have to do is you have to sit back and actually go to the websites that can show you how your legislator is voting and take due notice of what they're doing. You know, don't just assume because they're in your party that they are you. They might be one of them, and you have to check it out.
Yep,
it's your duty.
Scary, isn't it?
It is. It is.
So what's that website again?
It is ArkansasAgainstObamacare.com, and it'll be very soon, in the next few days, and it's going to be chock full of information, folks, and it'll be constantly changing. And I want you, if you want any more information about our movement, you can call me at 870-257-5967. That's 870-257-5967. If you want any more information about what we're trying to achieve, about what we're trying to do, we want to move to referendum the complete annihilation of Obamacare in Arkansas. It can be done. It is legal, and we intend to get it done.
And even Senator Bozeman says he looks for a full repeal on the national level.
Yeah.
That's basically the Republican agenda coming up in 2017.
It needs to be, and we need to stop trying to split hairs about keeping it around. Folks can't. You're going
to have to make it come to a complete stop. But before they do that, if I was in Congress, and I'm not suggesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that?
Yes. Yes, I am suggesting. Have a plan ready to go so once you dump this thing, we have something better to go to.
Well, that's just it. Everybody says, what's your plan? You know, I don't have it. I'm not a medical professional. I want it, but so far, no one's given me the plan either. All I know is this one cannot work. It is going to collapse under the weight of debt. It is an obvious problem, you know, and I'm with you. I want to help. You know, my son has a pre-existing condition. I want to help those with pre-existing conditions. I want Medicaid to do its job.
Sure.
You know, but I don't feel like that if you're at 148% of poverty level, that you need my assistance unless I choose to give it to you. That's just my opinion. You know, there you go. My rant.
Okay. We're down to 50 seconds before the phone rings here.
Well, the phone's going to ring, and we're going to have we have a Stossel.
There's that phone call.
There he is,
I
folks.
tell you what, boy, I could. There he is.
Yeah,
Tom Stossel will be on the phone here. Author of Pharmaphobia. He's going to be on here in just a few minutes with Doug and myself. So we are 30 seconds away. I got to wait for the theme song. So give me 30 seconds for this up.
Okay. Well, you know, folks, as I look at this great country of ours, we do a little comedy on here because we have so much fun. Dale and I had a TV show, and it lasted for a good 5-6 weeks, but it was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had a great time, and so we had a lot of fun, and we did a lot of comedy, and we try to make politics interesting to you, you know, and not just make it just a rant, you know. Well, no, we are ranting.
I think we are.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah. We'll just take a
Hey,
news
look,
break,
there's the music.
and then we'll go rant some more. We'll be right back. 7:36 on the phone. I am pleased to have Tom Stossel, author of Pharmaphobia. Sir, are you there?
I am here.
Good to have you. And on mic number 2 is my good friend Doug Dreisel, and we've been talking about Obamacare in Arkansas, and he's
wearing it out.
We're trying to wear it out. We want to get your take on pharmaphobia. Mike's all yours.
Thank you, Dale, for having me. I really appreciate it.
You bet.
So it's probably not obvious to people what pharmaphobia means, so let me translate it if I can. I'm a physician. Mm-hmm. I've been in practice for almost 50 years, and what you mostly hear about healthcare is all the problems, cost, access, so forth. But the fact is, in those 50 years, almost 50 years I've been in practice, it's immensely better. We live on average 10 years longer. We're 60% less likely to keel over from a heart attack or a stroke. That's the number one cause of death. The death rate's 1 per person, so you don't die the number 1 cause. You go in the number 2 category. That's cancer. Cancer mortality is at an all-time low. So I find people aren't aware of these facts. They're also not aware of the fact that the reason that healthcare is so much better is because of the amazing tools that we have, that healthcare providers have to provide to patients. And, in fact, those tools dominantly come from the private medical products industry, drug companies and device companies. Final fact, those innovations come with great difficulty and at great expense. All right, so I wrote the book to get those facts across because I find that intelligent people, even doctors, don't know those facts. I also wrote it because these folks I call pharmaphobes, who came out of the woodwork about 30 years ago, have denied these facts. And they by denying that it's difficult and expensive to innovate, they say we should have price controls. Stuff should be cheaper. And I can explain why it's so difficult and expensive, because it's clear. Worst of all, though, they declare that these companies are corrupt, and they corrupt physicians. Physicians partner with industry, which they have to for us to get innovation. They lose track of their reputations, they do flawed research, they harm patients. None of that's true, and I wrote the book to set that straight. The code word for this corruption is conflict of interest, and it's a bogus concept, and I try to blow it up.
You know, this is Doug here, and nice to talk to you, Tom. One of the things that there's 2 things that I have to add to that, and probably your book addresses this, is why on earth would the Obama administration go to such great lengths to tax the industry that is helping us live longer? Do you have any answer to that?
Yeah, it's because this I call it the conflict of interest narrative, has had unopposed airtime. It's in the media and even in medical journals, and so pretty soon people start to believe it. Oh, it's not that expensive. It's not that hard. Let me put some numbers on the expense and difficulty. It takes now on average 16 years and costs $2.6 billion to get a new drug approved by the FDA. That's 100 times more expensive than when I started out almost 50 years ago.
Can you repeat that fact you just said there, sir?
Sorry?
Can you repeat that fact right there?
$2.6 billion and 16 years to get a drug approved by the FDA.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And the reason for it is because the FDA has gotten more stringent in what it requires to prove for a company to prove that a drug or a device is safe and effective. But it's not 100 times more stringent. The problem is it doesn't take much increased stringency grafted on an ugly fact, which is that biology is a bitch. Okay?
Right.
So, we build jumbo jets that fly themselves, flat screen TVs that are great. They work fine. We fix them when they're broken. That's because we engineered them. We understand them, and they're totally predictable. We human beings evolved, and we are unpredictable because bacteria, for example, which can change every 20 minutes, and they're constantly going after us. And the reason we're walking and talking is because we're unpredictable. If we were predictable, they'd have wiped us out eons ago. So that's the good news. We're here. The bad news is you put a drug or a device in somebody, it doesn't respond. No matter how good it looked in the test tubes in the laboratory or in animals, you get into clinical trials, and 9 out of 10 projects fail. So the one success has to pay for the 9 failures.
Right.
Yeah.
But that because people don't understand those facts, and that's what I try to get across in the book. I say, oh, go ahead. You know, some of these big device companies, they're big, they're profitable. Tax them, and they can't afford the tax. The problem is most of the cutting edge of innovation is in small companies running on fumes, and when the big guys are taxed, they are much less likely to take on the projects of these small companies. Investors realize that, and they say, hey, we're not going to invest in this risky area. We're going to invest in dog food.
Yeah, it's just more. It's more of the same. Hating the class that has the power and the money to help us innovate the world, and it's a ill-fated hatred that I can't even understand.
Why do we tax success?
You know, some of that's true. I mean, of course, that's because it plays so well. But let me explain who the pharmaphobes are. They come in two flavors. I call some of them instigators. So some of them are just moralizing bullies. They say medicine is noble, it should be above the world of commerce. That, of course, is crazy. Then some of the media, with all due respect, guys, the media loves corruption, whether it exists or not. The academics have discovered they can make a living beating up on industry. But the worst instigators are the lawyers, because the lawyers win no matter what.
Exactly.
They win if they're prosecuting you, they win if they're suing you, they win if they're defending you, and the more regulations we have, the more they like it, because you pay them to teach you how to comply with those regulations. Then the other flavor are what I call the enablers. These people aren't poor; they're rich. They're the people who run, the bureaucrats who run our medical institutions, and they talk the talk about we need innovation, but they're much more concerned about avoiding getting beat up by the New York Times or the politicians if there's a scandal. So they put all these regulations in place that put barriers between doctors and industry and researchers and industry, and that's going to slow innovation, and that's bad for your health.
Right.
If we were to have a complete tax overhaul, a total restructure on tax, would this change what's going on in your line of work? Why, it sounds like we're taxing success here. A pharmaceutical manufacturing company comes up with a good device.
The specific tax I'm talking about is one that was stuck on Obamacare to pay for the uninsured. It's called a device tax.
Yeah, that's the one.
Tax on devices.
Yeah.
My main concern about most of what I'm talking about is that they're always complaining about the prices of drugs. And so there's the never-ending call to put price controls on drugs, which exist in all the rest of the world. The whole world freeloads off of American innovation. You know, what to do with the tax code is above my pay grade. I'm just a doctor. I'm not an economist, so I have to leave other people to decide that one.
Right. Well, you know, but you can obviously see why we the people out here in what we call the flyover states look at this problem and say that we see the tax on medical devices as being something that is crushing innovation, and that's why your book is so important and why we want people to check it out, because people need to understand that the medical device industry. One reason why I know that a member of my family is involved in something called biobotics, and I don't know if you've heard of that or not, but it's another innovative thing that they're trying to bring forward in the industry. Now, if these things are taxed to death, people with money are going to run from them. And that's what you're saying, correct?
Absolutely. And, more straightforwardly, when I started out in medicine, you go to an arthritis clinic, it'd be people sitting in wheelchairs, all crippled up, and you don't see that anymore. I mean, I played tennis with a guy who's got a knee replacement. He's a tennis coach. He's working because of those devices. And so we don't want to stop that. And I'll tell you another incredible Obamacare thing that's in what I explain in my book. I don't know if you know about this. It's called the Sunshine Act. Any payment in cash or kind to a physician from industry of $10 or more has to be reported to the federal government. It costs billions to do that reporting. You can go to a website and see what your doctor's getting paid, which, of course, is the last thing you want to know. You got 15 minutes with your doctor. You want to talk about your symptoms, or you want to talk about who's paying the doctor.
Right.
And it's the last thing you want to know. You want to know, where did the doctor train? What's the doctor's track record? What's the doctor's bedside manner? But that's what we're frittering away resources that should go to research, development, education. on looking over the shoulder of doctors and seeing if they're getting money from industry.
Right. You know, in your book, do you address what you think the end game is if we don't get off this path right now?
Yeah, I think that you know, the need for medical innovation is so great, and American entrepreneurial spirit is so strong. You know, we're not going to stop it, but we're slowing it down. And timing is everything. In the book, I talk about my brother-in-law who had a cancer that previously had been incurable, and a new drug had just come online. A few months would have made a difference. So the last thing we want to do is slow down the pace of innovation. And all this regulation that comes from this this pharmaphobe mania, I call it, because it has no substance, is definitely slowing down innovation.
I want to bring more attention to the book. Now, it looks like Roman and Littlefield published a book released April of this year. Is that correct? Is it in bookstores now? Is it available on Amazon and in bookstores? Good.
For sure.
What about a website? Do you have a website people can go to?
So I recently became a visiting scholar at the American Enterprise Institute. So if you go to the aei.org, you can look me up, and the information about me in the book is all on there.
The book is called Pharmaphobia, How the Conflict of Interest Myth Undermines American Medical Innovation. That's quite an interesting subject.
Yeah.
I need to have
about your health, and I hope people will try to make it user-friendly. It's complicated stuff, and I will look forward to feedback if I succeeded or not.
Well, Mr. Dreisel, we're starting to run out of time, but I do want to give you an invitation to be back on the program one of these days. We'll be back in touch. Will that be okay?
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you
awesome
so
talking to you, Tom.
Tom Dreisel, author of Pharmaphobia. We'll be right back after this break. 7:51, back with Doug Dreisel, and another subject coming up.
Yeah, because we just during the break our brilliant minds.
Well, we talk about Senator Bozeman, and coming up Saturday on Straight from the Horse's Mouth, we talk about
at 4:30.
At 4:30, several subjects. And I said, "Well, Senator, what about the fact that we don't export American oil? It's against law." He says he supports exporting. And I said, "Well, what would happen if he did that?" Okay, we have enough oil here. Okay, prices, forget the price. That's fictitious. That's
made by the market. We don't,
Yeah. Now, here's the deal. We started exporting oil from this country. You're going to kill Venezuela's oil economy. You're going to crush Russia's. China, forget them. And what's going to happen is the OPEC nations are going to panic. And you will see prices tank.
Which led us to what is going on here? You see,
why is the Keystone Pipeline?
But here's the problem. Everybody says, well, the Keystone is an environmental nightmare. No. Do you know how many hundreds of pipelines are under America, folks? And they're all running just fine.
If you've got natural gas in your house, you've got a pipeline.
That's right. And here's the problem. Why doesn't Keystone open? We have to wonder who is pulling that trigger for President Barack Hussein Obama.
OPEC.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're pulling that trigger going, you cannot have that because we now know full on, and you do too, by just looking at the facts, that these triggers for Keystone not being held back are being implemented by countries, either Venezuela, Russia, China, or OPEC, or all of the above. Because, folks, they don't want it because it will bring we have more oil here.
With the new fracking techniques, I've got a son works in this stuff, says, oh, Dad, come on, this is, we can blah, blah, blah. He's got all these facts and figures. My goodness. It's, he's talking about the pipeline and the economy. What about, we had a train wreck in Virginia, West Virginia.
Dropped so much oil in the river that it was unreal.
And then we had another one.
What was the thing off the coast I just saw the other day?
There's a pipeline in California now that's, I think it's like a 50-year-old pipeline that's leaking. They're working to clean it up.
Yeah.
But then there's another train wreck, I think in Idaho or Montana or something, dumped them some more oil. Hello, folks.
Yeah.
And so, well, they need to repair the tracks. The tracks were inspected before the train went through in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And still dumped 7 million barrels down to, or 7 million gallons in the.
And one more thing I want to bring up, and this is another national issue, but folks, and I found out Dale wasn't that educated on it yet, but he's going to be. Look into Jade Helm 15. I'm not saying that it is the problem Alex Jones says it is, but look into it from all angles. This military operation going on in Texas, because I know that the terror alerts have been elevated at the military installations in Texas. And that they are saying that ISIS is not only amassed in Mexico, but it is actually in America. This comes from our Army, folks. This is not.
I heard that. Yeah.
This is not. The sky is falling. We need to be. We need to look at Jade Helm for what it is. I know there's been plenty of military exercises in America, but folks, just get educated on it. Okay, that's my rant for that.
Well, you got a minute and 7 to keep ranting.
Good. I love that. We can go back to telling you about ArkansasAgainstObamacare.com, folks. It's coming. It will be here within the next 10 to 12 days. It's going to be chocked full of information about how we the people, are going to band together and get rid of Obamacare in Arkansas. And if you want to get a hold of me, my phone number is 870-257-5967. Become part of the solution, not part of the problem. Do not believe the narrative. We can do this. We have the power as Arkansans to referendum, and that's what we intend to do, Dale.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. And I've just had a great time. I thought the guy was very interesting that we had on.
Really good.
You all need to check that book out because medical device taxes, from the get-go, you had to smell something wrong with that. I know I did. I mean, why crush innovation? Who on earth wants to crush innovation?
Invest in it, don't tax it.
I don't want to live longer. Who have you ever heard anybody say that? I don't want to live longer. Why? I want to get out of here. I know we got a little bit of time. The little boy says, "Yes, I want to go to heaven. I just don't want to get on the bus going tonight."
There you go. Yeah. Showers moving east out of Oklahoma, Kansas into Missouri. It looks like we got some rain on the way later today. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.